You're watching KTVA 11 News. This is Daybreak.
This morning on Daybreak, police are investigating a girl's suspicious death. We'll show you where she was found in Anchorage.
A multi-million-dollar settlement over issues with the municipal payroll, how long the issues went unresolved.
And it's a cold morning, but this is just a taste of what is to come. I'm going to let you know how cold we're going to get this weekend.
And if you've ever wanted to own a newspaper, well, now you can for free. The owner of Skagway News joins us with his offer and the catch. Grab that coffee. It's time for Daybreak.
And it is so good to see you on a Friday, December 20th, 2019. John Thompson, Liz Raines, meteorologist Jeremy Legoo.
It's a special Friday.
It is. Why is that?
Because it's the last Friday before Christmas.
Oh, no.
Are you ready?
So excited about this.
So much left to do.
This man's
Stars
ready.
are going to be packed. But you know, it's one of those weekends where if you're planning on getting out, bundle up. And it all starts this morning. Let's go ahead and get you out the door. Moving along pretty quick this morning. You can see it's another clear one here. Now it says 19, but that's 19 as you make your way over to the west side of town. As you scoot on across town, how about that? A more than 10-degree drop in temperatures as you make your way over to Merrill Field in Muldoon. We're down at 5 degrees there, 9 in Rabbit Creek, 11 in Eagle River. So it's a chilly start to the day. In fact, we are at 4 in Wasilla, 10 in Palmer, 8 degrees in Kenai, even below freezing along some of those coastal areas that have been staying warm as of late. You can see some of that moisture along the coast clearing out early this morning. Our storm all the way down in southeast, and that opens the door for our offshore flow. Wind out of the north, and that's going to clear us out. There is a lot going on this satellite and radar pic. I'll let you know what exactly I see as a meteorologist coming up in the full forecast. But here's what you need to know to get out the door. Sunny and cold today. We're at 19 now, but here's the deal. Temperatures are going to drop, and then we're going to come back up into the teens. So be ready for even colder temperatures coming up in the next couple hours.
In the next couple hours?
Yeah, so 19
Saturday.
now. It's one of those days where 19 is our actual high temperature, but by this afternoon we drop and then come back up, so I have to put 15 on there. So I'm not crazy.
Be prepared for colder.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Jer.
Police are investigating the suspicious death of a girl in East Anchorage.
A Wednesday night, police responded to a juvenile not breathing in a home on Penland Parkway.
Officers and firefighters took life-saving measures, but she was declared dead at the scene. Police say multiple people are being questioned, and homicide detectives, as well as the crime scene team, are investigating.
The former principal of Bethel's Gladys Jung Elementary is facing new charges.
According to a release, Christopher Carmichael has been charged with possession of child pornography.
Now, this is in addition to the other charges of attempted enticement, coercion, and transfer of obscene material to a minor. Carmichael facing a minimum of 10 years in prison for the most serious offense.
The municipality of Anchorage reached an estimated $16 million settlement with union employees over payroll errors. As soon as the SAP software went live in 2017, there were pay errors. Some employees weren't getting paid or weren't getting paid as much as they should. The unions have clauses built into their contracts that invoke penalties if pay errors aren't fixed by the next paycheck. Some of those errors went unresolved for 18 months. The total liability was estimated at $2.7 billion. In the end, about $17,000 of the $16 million settlement was paid out in cash. The rest was paid out in non-cashable paid leave.
Well, Governor Mike Dunleavy's budget proposal would shut down the state's 2 commercial dairies. In his budget proposal, Dunleavy axes the $180,000 state funding that includes a dairy inspector. It's the same cut that he proposed last year. The Havemeister Dairy in Palmer has been in operation since 1935, and legally the dairy has to be state inspected and cannot hire its own private inspector. Manager Ty Havemeister says that cutting inspections would close the dairy down for good. He said that could have a negative trickle-down effect on other businesses as well.
Alaska Mill, we spend a lot of money on feed and fertilizer through, with Alaska Mill. My plastic is all our jugs. The blow mold is in Palmer, so True North Plastics supplies those. There's people that work there. It's not just us that would be affected by this.
Well, Governor Dunleavy suggests the dairy could provide raw milk to people through a cow share. Havemeister says that's not a realistic option because they send out thousands of gallons to stores every week. And a new goat dairy in Kodiak would also be impacted by the cuts. The farm manager there is optimistic, though, that the legislature will come through and restore the funding like they did last year. And speaking of animals, if you're looking for that perfect, and I mean perfect, right?
Ooh, I see what you're doing there.
Holiday gift, how about a new friend?
Oh, so cute. Well, coming up, we're going to have our Adopt a Pet segment. There are still plenty of kittens looking for a home this winter.
Come on, people.
And if you're gonna think about that, you might want one of those little fuzzy pets as we head into the weekend, because temperatures are going to drop to near 0 degrees. Right now, though, we're at 19 degrees at Ted Stevens. Down in the single digits on the east side, it's 6:05. You're watching Daybreak. Happy Friday, everybody. We'll be right back.
KTVA weather with meteorologist Jeremy Lagoo.
Now, I've got something pretty special. We don't have much daylight right now. We'll get to that coming up in just a bit here in the show, but let's go ahead and let you know what is in store, because this is actually pretty cool. What we're going to start to see is something happening here, and here it is. Look at that. The sun staying low on the horizon now, but we're going to start to see more and more. And what else happens as we see more and more sunshine is that sun starts getting a little bit higher in the sky. So let's just run through this one more time. Absolutely incredible seeing the sun just scoot along the southern horizon. It doesn't really go up all that high. It's one of the things that we tend to forget about come summertime when it's high overhead. Hyundai of Anchorage live weather cam showing some clear roads as you start the day, and temperatures pretty mild as you make your way over to the west side of town. On the east side of town, we are significantly colder. 19 there at Ted Stevens, 5 at Merrill Field, 5 in Muldoon, 9 at Rabbit Creek, 8 down in New Seward, Huffman. But if you want cold, here it is, 45 degrees below 0 in Fort Yukon, and that's going to be your high temperature for the day. That's it, right there. That's as cold as you're going to get and as warm as you're going to get. Unfortunately, that's it. Fairbanks, you're at 30 degrees below 0. McGrath, 35 degrees below 0. 17 degrees below 0 in Deadhorse. And that cold air will continue to spill its way to the south. But we are warming out to the west, 1 degree above 0 in Bethel this morning. Our low pressure center hanging out down to the south, that creates offshore flow, and that's what's going to keep us clear throughout much of the day today. And see these fancy little clouds back here? That's a sign of cold, so more cold working its way into western Alaska. And so there's our low. As you look back behind it, it just kind of hangs out there, and it's going to keep doing so for a little while. That puts showers in your forecast for much of southeast Alaska, and that's going to be the case as we scoot on through the day. And over the course of the next few, you get a wintry mix, a chance of snow, just about all of it as we see those temperatures drop with our low pressure center hanging out just off the coast. Now, all right, here we go. I'm all over the place. Kodiak and the Kenai Peninsula looking at mostly sunny skies today. We'll see a few more clouds down in Kodiak, but elsewhere it's all about the sunshine, and that's going to be the case. Mostly sunny here for Prince William Sound in the Copper River Basin. Glen Ellen, you could see a little bit of freezing fog, and then from that it'll look like snow, but it's actually some of that fog precipitating out. Temperatures to 33 degrees below 0 there. Sunny for the Mat-Su, but look at these overnight lows in Talkeetna and Willow and even Wasilla. Down below 0, same for you there in Palmer. Willow, you're gonna look at a cold day today, just 2 above. Anchorage, 15 degrees for a high. Overnight, we fall back to 1, just 1. But it depends on where you are in town. It's one of those ones where it's gonna be around 1, 2 degrees, and it's all about what side of town you're on, because we know the west side, 19 now, but it's single digits on the east side. That's going to be the case tomorrow on our winter solstice, the shortest day of the year. So check the southern horizon, say hi to the sun, because it's going to be sunny. Sunday, cold again, and then we'll start to warm up as the chance of snow returns just in time for Christmas. Now, it's coming, it's gonna do something, but more than a flurry would be a Christmas miracle.
Ooh, okay. All right. Keeping that wish out there, please, Santa.
Yeah. Guys, I got it. Cross your fingers.
Oh, there we go. We've been doing that. I think it's gonna be okay.
There we go.
It's gonna be okay. Real quick question. What's going to be the high or the low today in Fort Yukon? If the high is minus 45, what's the low?
It's pretty uniform all the way through since they don't have much sunshine, so they'll drop down to 47 below.
Tough. All right.
All right, hang in there, Fort Yukon.
Please.
Well, Boeing took a major step to once again launch astronauts into space this morning. The company's Starliner capsule blasted off from Cape Canaveral. The test flight is supposed to dock with the International Space Station Saturday, but That plan is in jeopardy after one of the capsule's onboard rockets failed to burn.
Now, a dummy named Rosie is the only occupant on board Starliner, and NASA expects Starliner to be ready to carry astronauts sometime early next year.
SpaceX hopes to beat Boeing to the punch, and Elon Musk's company has its own test flight for its Crew Dragon capsule planned for as early as January.
And still ahead, we spoke with NASA about the possibility of launching astronauts from Alaska. We'll show you what they had to say about that.
And you know it's Friday, and we have a great cat to show you this morning for Adopt a Pet. Meet Mr. Tibbles. He's Mr. Tibbles, look at that guy. He's a staff favorite, Anchorage Animal Care and Control. He's outgoing, amiable as well. Very sweet.
His adoption fee is sponsored by Jackie, a Good Samaritan who wants to help find him a new home.
Mr. Tibbles.
And how about this? Kittens, anyone? Oh, lots of really cute kittens have been adopted, but there are still some looking for a forever home.
Some beautiful bunnies, too. So, well, 'tis the season to be jolly, and you guys feeling it? You feeling that holiday spirit?
Feeling the festivities?
Boy, am I.
Mele Kalikimaka.
Aloha Friday right here.
Well, are you feeling the holiday spirit? Let us know.
Yep, head on over to KTVA.com. We want to know if you're feeling like Santa. Are you feeling like the Grinch? You know, there's a scale there. There's a lot of emotions in between. So choose the emoji that best matches your holiday spirit.
All right, excited.
Awesome.
People are excited.
Pretty
snowflake.
There we go.
Let us know.
Well, two fierce rivals set to hit the ice, but not a typical conference game.
No, it's a charity game, and these high schoolers support it. We're going to find out what charity it's for tonight and why it's important to them.
Plus, if you've ever wanted to own a newspaper, now's your chance. We'll show you the offer from the current owner of Skagway News, how it's gaining some international interest.
It's 6:13, 19 degrees on the west side of town, but don't let that fool you. If you're on the east side, you're waking up to temps down in the low single digits. You're watching Daybreak. We'll be right back.
6:16, 19 degrees. Welcome back to Daybreak. And for a 10th straight year, two hockey rivals will meet at Ben Boeke Ice Arena, not only for an important conference game, but also for an important cause. Diamond High School hockey in studio this morning, represented by Link's top scorer. We got Teague Porter and the captain, El Capitan, Tyler Graber. Good morning. How we doing, guys?
Pretty good. How are you?
Doing great, and appreciate you being here. Today is the first day of winter vacation, so you could have slept in, but you said, no, man, we got to get out, get the word out. So thank you for being here. And Tyler, let's talk about it. You're a senior this year, so you got to experience, you know, this game for the last couple of years. What does it mean to you personally, and to see your team give back to the community every year around this time?
You know, the community's really done a lot for us as we've grown up, and so it's important to start giving back, and it's good for the guys to learn about this stuff. And it's always a really fun game, good crowd, good environment out there, so should have a blast tonight.
I was going to say, it is. This is a conference game. You got South, the defending state champion, the only team to beat you this year, so you're preparing for that tonight, Teague. But then you also got the charity game on your mind. Do you attack this game any different than any other game?
Not really, because the Diamond South games are usually packed, and I mean, we're just focusing on the game, and it's a great cause, but we just want to win.
I know you want, but do you think that maybe getting involved with the community and focusing on, you know, on a cool cause, that brings the team closer together?
Oh yeah, for sure. The charity is a great thing. The Make-A-Wish Foundation families are amazing, and it's great to play for them.
Very cool. Yeah, I was going to say each year it's a different charity or organization that's chosen. We've, you know, benefited the military, Catholic Social Services, Ronald McDonald House, and this year again it was
Make-A-Wish.
Yeah, Make-A-Wish.
Yeah, so we adopted, or we sponsored 6 families, 6 recipients, and then their siblings, so 19 kids total.
So Tyler, how do you guys decide, you know, kind of what charity you want to get involved with?
You know, I think every year we kind of just, obviously there's a lot of charities out there, and we kind of just choose one, so it just happens to be something that's local, and we got in touch with Make-A-Wish, and they got it going, so.
And it's Make-A-Wish, Alaska, and I think Washington as well. It's like a regional thing. Why is it important? What have you guys learned about Make-A-Wish through this process? What does it do for the kids?
So these kids, you know, obviously it's really hard what they have to go through, and no kid should have to go through that, but for Make-A-Wish to help them out and make sure, you know, we have some kids that are going to SeaWorld and Disney World and Universal, so we're raising some money, gathering airline miles, and then also some backpacks and just stuff to send them with when they're headed down there, so it's cool that they get to help them out and make sure that they're having a good time.
It's a beautiful thing. And how can people, so you said money, I think Alaska Airline miles, and you got a full list of things.
And items. You can bring items to the game too, and not just the game, you can bring it anytime. You can bring backpacks, just anything a 3-year-old to a 10-year-old would want.
Okay. Yeah, we have a list on diamondhockey.net if you want to check that out, and you can make sure that, just fulfill whatever we need and make sure that the charity's supported.
Beautiful. Yep, all that information right there on our screen tonight. 6:30, Diamond versus South, Ben Boeke Ice Arena. Benefits Make-A-Wish Alaska in Washington. You can contribute with the cash, the Alaska Airline miles, and as you said, diamondhockey.net. We have a link at KTVA.com. Gentlemen, anything else you want to say? Teague Porter, Tyler Graber?
Thank you for having us on.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Go Lynx.
No, go Lynx. There you go. No, we appreciate what you guys do in the community. So thank you and good luck tonight and throughout the season. Right now, we're going to check in with meteorologist Jeremy Legoo. I imagine, what do you think? Good forecast for the night?
Oh, great forecast for the night, especially if you want to, say, watch some hockey. How great does that sound? Temperatures are going to continue to dip this morning. We're all the way down to 10 on the west side, even colder on the east side of town. By this afternoon, we are in the teens with mostly sunny skies. And overnight tonight, back into the single digits on the west side, likely down near 0 on the east side of town. It's December 20th. That means 5 hours, 28 minutes of daylight. We lost just 21 seconds of it. And in fact, our sunset is actually later than it was yesterday. You're watching Daybreak. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Good morning. Welcome back to Daybreak. The time now is 6:22. It is 19 degrees here in Anchorage. The owner of a local newspaper is giving it away. Larry Pursley bought Skagway News in April. Now he's willing to give it to someone else for free on one condition. Mr. Pursley is with us in studio this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
So if you want the paper, you have to move to Skagway. Why is that important to you?
It's a small town, and in small town newspapers, the editor, the owner, has got to live there. And the Skagway papers had a series of editors who have come and gone, I think 3 in the past 3 or 4 years, but that's not good for the town. You don't build up any expertise, any knowledge. So yes, if you're going to own the Skagway News, you're going to be the editor, the reporter, the photographer. You got to live in Skagway and you got to like Skagway.
And you're based in South Central. Why did you want to own the Skagway News?
Well, I sort of got talked into it by a friend who had started the paper 42 years ago. He had sold it a few years back. The absentee owners were having problems. The editors were churning in and out. And my friend said, well, why don't you buy it and see if you can stabilize it and provide some adult supervision, which I've been doing this year. The editor quit last month on very short notice. So I thought, rather than get another editor and continue that cycle, I'll just get a new owner editor and establish it the way it should be.
How much of an investment have you made in the paper? You've owned it since April. Right. So in this short amount of time, how much have you invested personally?
More than I should have, but that's okay. It's not like I got kids that are going to lose my inheritance. It was still a good idea. I think it's good for the town. It's good for local journalism. So yes, I've put money into it. We're going to change the website, put up a paywall so that you've got to pay to read it online, tried to improve the writing, the news coverage, and hopefully the new owner will continue that.
So you're not asking for anything. I mean, it's a $0 price tag. Why not ask for something?
Well, the finances aren't great. So it'd be not, I wouldn't say dishonest, it'd be difficult to say, give me a bunch of money for this, but I'm not sure about its financial future. I'm not sure how much it's going to make. I'm not sure how much you can pay yourself. I think also looking for that, I don't want to be age discriminatory here, but probably a younger person, younger couple, they're not going to have money to buy it. They can't afford a mortgage on the newspaper. They're going to have money to move, to get started. So if I give them the paper, maybe that increases the chance of success.
I just saw a study. It was done by the University of North Carolina. It found that 1,300 U.S. communities have lost news coverage completely. Do you see giving the paper away as a way to save it completely?
Well, I think it'll help. Again, there'll be no mortgage on the business, so that helps. And a lot of the towns like Youngstown, Ohio, a city of, I think, more than 100,000, their newspaper closed this year, completely went out of business. But there's other ways to get news in Youngstown. In Skagway, it's not like there's a radio. Well, there's public radio out of Haines that covers Skagway. There's no TV. It's not like social media is going to cover Skagway like it does international news or national news. So hopefully there's still that niche in small towns for small town weekly papers where they can survive because they're important to the community.
Well, this offer has gotten the attention of national publications.
Yes.
It's garnered quite a bit of international interest. I hear you had to turn a few people away. Tell us about those international applications.
Well, I've probably gotten more than 200 responses from people around the world. One from Israel, from Australia, multiple from Canada. I got one from the Ukraine. I'm not sure if Giuliani was behind it, but it was a Ukraine email address. Probably of those 200, more than half are journalists or retired journalists or journalists who lost their jobs when the paper closed. A good portion, though, are just people who want an adventure and think this is a great opportunity. And I'm not looking for adventures. I'm looking for a journalist who can spell right, who can get the facts right, and who can be fair.
So do you prefer somebody from Alaska?
I would prefer someone from Alaska so I don't have to explain to them what a dividend is, why the ferry system's messed up, why we're in a recall, what's going on with the budget, what's going on with the Tongass logging. Yes, an Alaskan would be preferable.
All right. Well, when do you hope to make a decision?
I hope to decide by Christmas because I'm tired of this. I gotta, and I need the person to start by March 1. If they're gonna be there in 2 months, they gotta know before the year's out.
All right, so we'll find out shortly. Larry Pursley, owner of Skagway News, thanks so much
you
for joining us this morning. And stay tuned, we still got the second half of Daybreak to come. Time now, 6:27, 19 degrees here in Anchorage. We'll be right back.
You're watching KTVA 11 News. This is Daybreak.
This half hour on Daybreak, Boeing just test launched a capsule to transport astronauts. We'll hear from NASA on the possibility of launching crews from Alaska.
And Hilcorp is planning to take on BP's resource interests in Alaska. Just how many of BP's workers the company plans to keep.
And we're looking at some of the coldest weather we've seen in almost a year this weekend. I've got to look at your frigid forecast.
And we head to a remote cabin in the Alaska wilderness to meet a self-made homesteader. Frontiers host Ronna McBride in studio. Top off the coffee. Daybreak returns right now.
Ooh, best hour of the day, best day of the week. Good morning to you. Thanks for waking up with us on this Friday. I'm Liz Raines with John Thompson and meteorologist Jeremy Lagoon. And it's not just any Friday, it's the last Friday before Christmas.
You ready?
We're so
I have
excited.
so much left to get done, but
So
it's
not ready.
That's the part of it. It's the nervous energy, the rush, the songs. It's
Bright
all
lights.
part of the season.
Beautiful songs.
Oh yeah, we're singing Malika Miki Maka
Maka
is a thing to say with Jeremy's tie this morning.
Aloha Friday.
Christmas Day.
But you know what's not very aloha on this Friday?
Our forecast.
Temps.
The temps. Ooh.
temps.
All right, let's go ahead and get you out the door this morning. Get your day started off right with a look at what you can expect. And here's the deal. That 19, to me, that kind of feels like a lie. It's like, hey, why are we telling everybody what the temperature is out there at the airport when you just make your way over to, say, Minnesota and you're already down to 12? You keep going a little bit farther, there we go. 5 at Merrill Field, 6 in Muldoon, 9 in Rabbit Creek, 8 in New Seward-Huffman. So most of town, most of you this morning are waking up to single-digit temperatures. Now's the time of year when you gotta plug in that car overnight. It helps with many things. It helps with emissions. It helps keep your car lasting a little bit longer. So once that temp drops below 20 degrees, start plugging it in. Wasilla, Palmer, Kenai, all of you guys got to do that. 20s along coastal areas where we've been in the 40s lately, so a big drop there as well. And that is from our offshore flow, the wind blowing out of the interior where a few locations are more than 40 degrees below zero this morning. So our temperature, well, it's going to feel downright balmy. We're at 19 this morning on the west side of town. Temperatures will drop. We'll drop all the way down near 10, and then we'll struggle to get back warmer as we get into the afternoon. How's 15 sound for your high later today?
Ooh, sounds chilly.
Yeah.
So enjoy this. 19 degrees.
Enjoy
ladies and
19.
gentlemen.
Never felt warmer.
There you go.
All right.
It's not
Thanks,
Fort
Jeremy.
Yukon. Thanks, Jeremy. Well, Hilcorp Alaska says it's nearly tripling its workforce.
The energy company is planning on taking over BP's Alaska assets. BP employs about 1,600 people here in Alaska, and Hilcorp says so far they've offered jobs to more than 800 of those BP employees. They're still reviewing applications and say they expect to post nearly 150 more jobs in the coming months.
Well, another test launch for Boeing's Starliner this morning, slated to transport astronauts to and from the International Space Station.
We spoke with NASA's deputy administrator about the possibility of launching astronauts from Alaska's spaceport in Kodiak. Here's what he said.
We intend to launch American astronauts on an American rocket on American soil. If you take that equation, you really have that opportunity in Alaska at some point. Are we ready to do that yet? I can't say that, but I can tell you that we're trying to get there. This is, again, right now we're paying the Russians to have a seat on a Soyuz rocket. We want to have the ability to, again, launch American astronauts on American soil. And that fits right in with Alaska in the future.
Besides cost savings, what other benefits are there to using commercial spacecrafts?
You know, Liz, that's a good question. You think about it, there's certainly cost savings, but we're focused on safety, reliability, and innovation. And those things are paramount in why we're trying to do this. We've got to do this for the long haul. If you look at the space program, you know, we have technical risk. And I'm so confident in NASA and the space industry in the United States. We're usually able to figure out those risks. But there's also political risk. And you've seen it with the Apollo program, with the shuttle program. You know, it gets to a point where we basically run out of time. So we're trying to move as quickly as we can to accomplish as much as we can. And that's really creating a greater economy in space, a space economy. And that's really where we're trying to go with this.
Well, this certainly is a new frontier for commercial spaceflight. SpaceX has said it wants to land humans on Mars by 2024. Do you see commercial aircraft like these supporting NASA missions there?
Liz, that's a great question. And the reality is, yes, I do. But let me put some granularity on it. We, in the past, in the Apollo era, we owned and operated this spacecraft. We're trying to make sure that our commercial partners get to the point where they can provide heavy lift and that it's human rated. We're not there yet. We've got what we call the Space Launch System, which is the only human rated rocket that will take us to the moon and to Mars. And so right now, that's where we're at. But the intent is ultimately that we're going to have commercial partners that will be able to do just that.
Well, today's test launch was unmanned, but if all goes well, NASA hopes to make manned voyages on commercial spacecraft sometime next year. And interestingly enough, Mr. Morehart has an Alaska connection. He actually used to work for Senator Ted Stevens, and he was on the plane with him during that deadly crash in 2010.
Incredible.
He told me he feels like he left a piece of his heart here in Alaska, and he hopes that he'll be able to make it back someday soon.
He's vested, and he loves this place. And I mean, Kodiak, what a great place.
Yeah.
I mean, future could be bright.
Yes, the future could be very bright. Just a lot of opportunity on the horizons, perhaps right here in Alaska.
Nowhere to go but up. All right.
That's right.
Very good. Well, coming up in our Frontiers preview.
Ooh, we're going to be heading out into the Alaska wilderness. We'll introduce you to an Alaskan who's not so much known in our state, but admired all over the world as a wilderness icon.
Sure. All right. Jeremy, you ready? Daybreak's Morning Brew with the Scott and Stu Silly Stat. The first recorded instance of this holiday treat traced back to the year 1837.
Eggnog.
Eggnog? You're going eggnog.
I don't know.
Wow,
That's the first
another
thing that
great
came to mind.
guess.
Eggnog.
John and I were discussing this a bit earlier. I thought candy canes.
That was what came to mind there.
That sounds delicious too.
I said, bring me some figgy pudding.
Oh, the figgy pudding.
Yeah, figgy pudding.
Wow,
Let
I
us
think
know
we've
what
got
you
'em
think.
covered.
Yeah, send your guess to our Facebook page, and we'll have the correct answer when we come back.
All right, welcome back to Daybreak, 6:39, 19 degrees, and it's time to check in Cash Country Studios for a look at that silly stat. What is trending this morning?
It's Daybreak's Morning Brew with Scott and Stu, and just Stu today.
Oh, morning,
Yes.
Stu. Oh,
Good
you got
morning.
waiting in line. Alaska Airlines
Scott's-
sweaters.
Yeah, I do. It is Ugly Sweater Day, National Ugly Sweater Day.
Oh.
And it's National Ugly Christmas Sweater Day. And you sweater believe it, Alaska Airlines is offering priority boarding to anyone wearing an ugly holiday sweater. According to a press release issued by Alaska Airlines, anyone wearing any kind of holiday sweater today, if you're traveling to the lower 48, you can receive priority boarding on all Alaska Airlines flights.
All right,
Wow.
good reminder.
Look at
Awesome.
that. Look at that awesome sweater. He got the one.
And
Yep.
remember,
Love it.
jealous.
got it.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I think that is a very handsome sweater you are wearing.
Yeah, I
there,
know.
Stu.
It doesn't have to be ugly, right? It could just be festive.
Festive sweater.
I can always sell it to you, or maybe gift it.
Sell it to me. All right, let's get
right.
into it. This is a good
Great.
question this morning.
I'm feeling good about
I
this
love
one.
it. Yeah, we have to
Got
go
some
way
good
back for this one. The first recorded instance of this holiday treat traced back to the year 1837. What is it? We're going to give you a hint. The most popular guess by far is fruitcake. And I'm pretty sure that's the same fruitcake that they had in 1837.
1837.
And I've received it 3 times myself.
Passing it around, man. Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, so that's the hint is it's popular on
it's
your
not-
Facebook
it's-
page, but does
It's
mean it's
the
right?
most popular.
It's not.
On
So
the
it's-
Facebook page.
It's not.
Yep.
So it's not fruitcake.
Not fruitcake. Okay, but figgy pudding.
You guys have a plethora of answers there. Why don't
I
we
think
start
that's a
with
really
Liz? You want to kick it off today?
Hit it,
All right,
Liz.
my first thought was eggnog, so
Ooh,
I'm
good
gonna
stuff.
I'm gonna throw that out there.
I like it. We've had eggs.
Eggnog. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's about
We just had
1837-ish. I'm thinking.
How do you
that's
spice
a great guess.
up some milk and make
spice
it
up the
festive?
milk. Add an egg.
There you
Whisk it.
go.
Awesome.
Little boo.
All right, JT, John, what are you going with?
I'm going to go with the figgy pudding. I don't know what figgy pudding is.
Has anybody tried figgy pudding?
pudding.
Oh, bring and they demand that you bring us that
now.
figgy
Yeah.
Right now.
Give me some figgy. It's just fun to say anyway.
Bring it right
figgy
here.
pudding.
Yeah.
Give me some figgy pudding.
The figgy
All right.
pudding. I'll take the figgy pudding.
How about
please.
Jeremy? What are you going with?
I'm gonna go with the candy cane. I have no idea if that's even close to being true, but it was my knee-jerk reaction, and since we all did it, we're going with those.
Festive.
It's festive.
All right, and some of those last about as long as since 1837.
That's
Let's
true.
unveil the correct answer. It is yes, candy cane.
Good guess. Tried it, guys.
Did we lose it all this week? I think it was
I love
just
We did.
pure victory.
Oh, yeah, we're nailing all the holiday questions.
Holiday questions are
remember
good.
that.
No, we got this. All right, my friend. Anything else? Anything else? I don't know.
Well,
Trending
you know, Scott's not here because he's waiting in line for this new movie. The saga will end, but the story will live forever. Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker.
Yes.
It's out in theaters nationwide today. It's the 9th and final film of the Skywalker saga, a culmination of 42 years of storytelling. Now, Disney forecasting the debut of this film to bring in about $160 million, which is a lot, but actually well below either of the first 2 films in the current trilogy. And I'm taking the over on that $160 million.
definitely the over
Pretty
on that.
sure you can actually wager or bet on this in Vegas.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
Time to
you
go to
can.
Vegas.
Well,
The over and under. I'm taking the over 160 million just because
It's gonna
Scott's
be
already
good.
waiting in line.
Scott's waiting.
Scott's waiting in line.
And not just for any version, the 3D version. Right? They have it coming out in
Glasses and
3D.
all.
I'm so pumped. I'm so
The
pumped.
Rise of Skywalker.
And this is the end of the
in
saga, though.
3D.
Snoke returns. This is gonna be crazy.
3 dimensions. Oh, Stu, my friend. All right. We will continue the conversation 7:30 on the Mighty Cash Country 107.5. Love you, Stu.
Adios,
All
sir.
right. Thanks
Love
for
that
checking
sweater.
in. See you guys.
So it is. Nice sweater, yeah.
Oh, might need it. It's a good day to wear a sweater, right?
It is a great
Might
day.
need
You
one.
know, it's National Ugly Sweater Day. Throw on sweaters. You have an excuse if it's
Festive,
an ugly one.
ugly,
Yeah.
beautiful, whatever.
I mean, I got this sweater I absolutely love. Kylie might call it an ugly sweater, but you know what? I get to wear it today,
Okay.
right? Because it's National Ugly
Wear
Sweater
whatever you
Day.
wish.
Yeah, wear
Any
whatever
day
you
you
wish. You be you. Back at home. All right, here we go. Let's check this out. Ready? This is pretty incredible. These are the shortest days of the year, but have you thought about how low on the horizon the sun stays? I've got you covered. Check out this time lapse from yesterday. The sun barely eclipses the horizon and just kind of hovers there all day long. That's going to be the case today. And with sunshine expected the next few days, you'll be able to look on the southern horizon and go, wow, it is really low, and then flip down the visor in your car so it doesn't shine in your eyes. Hyundai of Anchorage live weather cam showing clear skies and clear roads this morning. We're at 19 at Ted Stevens, that's on the west side, but look at what's going on the east side. Quite a bit cooler, so wind is out of the west at just 3 miles an hour, and that's blowing in some warmer air coming from the water in the Cook Inlet. But once you get away from that, temperatures quickly fall down into the single digits. Once you get into the interior, temperatures quickly fall below zero. 35 degrees below zero in McGrath, 30 below in Fairbanks, 17 below in Deadhorse, and 45 degrees below zero in Fort Yukon. It is that kind of cold this morning. Our low pressure center slides its way to the south and the east. Our offshore flow continues, so all of that cold, those sub-zero temperatures, that cold's making its way toward us over the course of the next day or so. And that remains the case. Now, our storm hangs out down to the southeast, and then we try to get a little cloud cover in, but for the most part, that cold air wins out. It'll really dry that out and get rid of a lot of those clouds before they make it to us here in South Central, especially as we move through the next couple of days. A few showers across southeast Alaska today. Snow for places like Skagway, Yakutat. You're on the warmer side of things. It'll be a rain-snow mix. Same with Juneau. And then temperatures in the 40s farther down to the south. In the interior, it's cold and clear. Fort Yukon, 45 degrees below zero. That's your high temperature today. It'll slide back a little bit, 47 degrees below zero. And notice it doesn't change all of that much in many of these locations. The reason for that is we are in the shortest days of the year. That sun stays really close to the horizon, so all those rays that would typically heat you just bounce off and scoot on away and don't really offer much in the way of heat. Winter weather advisories in place along much of western Alaska for snow and blowing snow as that next storm kind of scoots its way off to the north through the Bering. Temperatures in the mid to upper 30s. It's those showers today for the Aleutians as you're seeing the southern end of some of that cold front. Kodiak at 33 degrees under partly cloudy skies today. Looking at temperatures in the teens and 20s across the Kenai Peninsula, falling back below zero in Soldotna, 2-0 there in Kenai. How about along Prince William Sound? It's a cold one for you guys after temperatures in the 40s the last few days. You're down into the 20s, overnight lows falling down near the single digits. Glen Allen, 33 degrees below zero tonight. So if you're heading out toward Glen Allen or you live there, bundle up. It's going to be cold. 12 in Talkeetna today, 10 degrees below zero overnight. Willow, you hit 2 for your high temperature today, 15 below overnight tonight. Wasilla and Palmer, you're in the double digits today, below zero overnight. We don't fall below zero here in Anchorage. We're 15 degrees above during the day today. We're already at 19 this morning, but the way I looked at it was I thought 19 this morning, we'll see those temps dip, and then we'll struggle to get back up to 15. So I went with the 15, but just know officially records are going to say we were at 19, but then our temperature drops really take place. 1 degree tonight. If you're, say on the east side of town jumping into a lake, it will be below zero tomorrow morning, 11 on Saturday for the high temperature, 10 Sunday, and those overnight lows hovering near zero.
Ooh, talking about that polar plunge on Saturday. Hopefully that makes the water feel a little bit warmer.
It'll feel nice.
Yeah.
It'll feel nice.
Yeah,
We know what
nice.
time we're doing this?
Festive.
Earlier,
the
later?
love in your heart is what's going to keep you warm. We're jumping at 11.
The love in your heart. Okay, 11 o'clock.
11
So
a.m.
some people will warm up the lake for us.
Yeah,
There you go.
We'll be ready.
Somebody's going to
We're ready.
warm it right up.
All right. Okay, so it's holiday season. It's our last Friday before Christmas. We want to know how you're feeling. We're all excited.
We are pumped. All right.
So we asked you, which emoji do you most relate to?
And what do we got? We got the Santa, we got the snowflake, the Met emoji, the blues, the Grinch. And I like it. People are excited. People pumped. So head on over. KTVA.com. You can voice your opinion there or use our KTVA News app. We'll have the results coming up a little later on in the program.
And still ahead, we are heading into the wilderness. Lots of cabins here in Alaska, but this one is special.
It is. What makes this cabin different? Well, coming up in our Frontiers preview, we're going to meet the man who built it and made it famous. Of course, our good friend Rhonda McBride here, and I know she's ready for the holidays. Look at that. So
She's
festive.
smiling. She's smiling. She loves it. 648, 19 degrees on the west side, single digits on the east side on this frigid Friday morning. Thanks for waking up with Daybreak. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Time now, 6:50. It is 19 degrees here in Anchorage. Coming up this Sunday on Frontiers, we're going to take you to a remote cabin in the wilderness.
So this is Dick Prenike's cabin. Dick came here in 1968.
Oh, it's not just any cabin. Dick Prenike built that cabin himself, and he made it with hand tools. I mean, his own hands and tools that he made. He filmed its construction, kept journals about his life at the homestead there at Twin Lakes, which today is part of the Lake Clark National Park in Bristol Bay region.
I encourage you guys to go inside and see what life was like for Dick, and let me know if you think you'd like to live here.
That is so cool. It's not easy to get to Twin Lakes. Fans of Prenike's books and films, they've come from all over the world. Some pay thousands of dollars just for the chance to see the place where Prenike made himself at home in the wilderness. He lived alone at this cabin for more than 3 decades, where he took daily hikes and came to know the birds and the animals that lived around him.
Incredible, incredible. And joining us right now on the couch, Rhonda McBride, host of Frontiers. And Rhonda, what a great story. A modern day
It
Henry
is.
David Thoreau.
You know, and a lot of people really don't know much about him. You know,
Yeah.
if you ask Alaskans, Dick
A tricky last name.
Yeah.
You know, Jeremy grew up in Minnesota, and he knew of Dick Prenneke.
I know people that live outside Alaska know all about him.
What is it that makes him so special outside of Alaska?
Well, you know, he is many things to many people. And one of the things, too, is you have to imagine that he was 52 years old when he decided to do this, to live out his dream and build a cabin in the wilderness and live out there all by himself near Port Allsworth. And his nearest neighbor was an interesting guy, Governor Jay Hammond, who lived about 40 miles away, nearest neighbor, 40 miles away. Jay and his wife, Bella, returned to live at their cabin at Lake Clark after the governor retired. And they were very, very good friends. And in the process of working on this week's show, we found a lot of footage with Jay and Dick Prenneke. So that's something that we'll be sharing in an extended version of this show online. So be sure and watch that, too.
That's some amazing footage right there. I love just seeing him, you know, holding the birds, playing with the birds. Living the dream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, why did he decide to chase this dream so late in life?
He was a diesel mechanic, and he was living in Kodiak at the time, and there was some kind of a weird welding accident in which molten lead spewed into his eyes, and he just about lost his eyesight. So he wanted to go to a place where he could see beauty every day. He wanted to take advantage of what he thought limited eyesight. But as it turned out, he lived for many years, did well. You know, and this guy was like an incredible hiker. I mean, Jeremy Legoo would really relate to him. He climbed mountains all around him, you know, and he usually hiked about 10 miles a day. So, you know, add that up over a year, that was more than 3,000 miles. And that's about the distance across the lower 48, if you can imagine that east to west.
Wow. Incredible. I mean, you must have heard so many stories about this man.
Oh, gosh, there are lots of them that we hardly had time to tell, but one of them that just struck me as curious, if you can imagine this, is he would actually rake the gravel on his beach.
Huh. Really?
Yeah, that was an important thing, and here's a Park Service volunteer kind of keeping up the tradition. But the reason he did that was because if a float plane came up, it would kind of disturb the gravel. If animals walked by or somebody came by, he would kind of read the gravel.
Oh,
so,
cool.
you know, but there's so much about this guy to tell. One of the things, too, is he was kind of a recycler before its time. He'd pick up trash that other people left behind. You know, and you're talking about the wilderness, but yet there was a lot of trash. And one of the things that he loved to do was take gas cans and turn it into stuff. And we'll be showing you this whole set of baking things, pans and baking implements that he made out of fuel cans. So this is really great. But you know, I think though what people get so fascinated with him by are his films, because he was out there every day, and the animals just actually got used to him. So, you know, they let him get these incredible pictures of things. You know, he would go into bear dens. Not to be, you know, advised to something to try at home, but amazing.
Incredible.
Well, sounds like a very special show. I know it's taken years in the making here.
You know, it took us a couple of years. It's the baby of Will Mader, KTVA's main Frontiers photojournalist. And, you know, I just have to liken Will. There he is in the Prenneke cabin. This was his passion project. But Will, I think, is the Ken Burns of Alaska. You know, he does these wonderful historical stories.
Not going to disagree.
He does, yes. And we are so looking forward to this one. This Sunday, you can watch this special edition of Frontiers at Home in the Wilderness. Sunday, that's December 22nd, right here on KTVA, airs at 5 p.m. Also re-airs on GCI 907 at 8:30 a.m. and 10:30 p.m. for you night owls.
All right. Rhonda McBride, we love you. Thank you so much.
This is going to be a fun one.
Very much looking forward to it on Sunday. And coming up, Jeremy Legoo, he's got one more look at that 7-day forecast. Temps dropping, Rhonda.
Plunging.
Stick around. All right, welcome back to Daybreak. What time? 6:58. Can you believe it? This week just flew right by. 19 degrees. Let's get to the result of our question today. Are you ready for the holidays? Are you ready for Christmas, Hanukkah? I mean, it's here.
Ooh, yes, a lot of people excited. Okay, a few people say meh.
A couple people up near Santa, though.
No Grinches.
Santa. No Grinches.
I love that. Okay, no Grinches.
A little mad, a little excited. Get excited. It's coming.
Yeah, we're excited. Polar plunge tomorrow and temperatures.
Oh, it's going to be cold. The worst part of this is going to be outside because as we drop down, check out these temperatures. Overnight tonight, down near 1 degree on the west side of town. That means on the east side of town, we'll likely be below 0 when we're jumping through that hole in the ice.
But we're freezing for a reason.
Freezing for a reason. Shortest day of the year comes with some sunshine. As we get into next week, if we keep our fingers crossed, we might get a Christmas miracle and a little bit of snow to fall.
I like that. Christmas miracle. Just gotta believe. Just gotta believe.
We're all wished together. Maybe we'll get a little bit of snow. Thanks for waking up with us. Have a great weekend. We'll be back Monday.